Anemme. Tawena. Oh yes. Yes. Yeah, this is my song. Next time, please come. Thank you.
Yes. Good evening, everyone. So, Nyazuguchi Namhlanje, we have the episode that is the second of the constellations. So, we So today we will be introducing a very, very heated topic, and it's about crime and justice, right? And then we do have our participants and also the judges, the moderators as well. So we're going to welcome each and every participant individually, and that's how they're going to be introducing themselves.
All right, my name is Stembelo Khatebe, and I am the Programs and Hubs Coordinator with Visa Holdings, and Safe Hub is my partner, and I'm glad to be here to contribute my knowledge. Thank you.
Sanmanani Igama Unhlanhla Mchunu. I'm a youth activist from Alexandra. I am glad to be here today to box and battle this very heated topic.
Is it good morning or good evening? But somewhere in there. My name is Tsikohacho Lawrence Dijwambunti Bonmahuma Pelo, an advocate for justice, LLB graduate, and then operations officer. Thank you very much.
Good evening, everyone. Kamalam Ngobonsilik Nene. I'm a project coordinator for an NPO in Alexandra.
Dumelang le kae? Luitso Khuluvelo, ke tswa gona mo Alexandra.
Thank you so much to the participants for introducing themselves. Now, we would like our lovely judges to kindly introduce themselves.
It's not. Can you hear me? Should I use it? Is it fine? Oh, it's me. Okay. Good evening. My name is Amanda Mabaso. I'm a founder and owner of Alex Rice Foundation, and I'm a Cosazana Global.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Lerato Dlamini Tue. I'm a content producer at Alex FM and born and bred like Alexandra. Thank you.
Thank you so much, the judges and also the participants. Now that we're gonna have to start with the debate, and each of every participants here, they're gonna come with an opening statement where it's gonna be introduced within 180 seconds. That's equivalent to 3 minutes, as you may know.
Wait, before you begin, today's topic.
Okay.
Yes. So, today's topic, we have our patrollers here, esteemed members of the public as well.
Oh, yes.
Yes. So, today's topic is the South African Police Services doing enough to counter crime in South Africa? You all got it, right? You ready? We can start. Let's start.
Okay. Constable Siabonga Tonga was shot and killed while responding to a business robbery in Phosphorus. Excuse me, bit nervous. He was 33 years old. Probe Crew, the latest status by Probe Crew, they say 13 police officers have been killed so far this year. Last year, 33 officers were killed. That is what Probe Crew tells us. These are husbands and wives. These are brothers and sisters who were killed in the line of duty, trying to uphold the responsibilities and duties that are outlined by the Constitution of South Africa. So the question here today shouldn't be, is SAPS doing enough to encounter crime? But the question should be, is the government of South Africa under the ANC doing enough to encounter crime? Sorry. Excuse me a bit. Okay, currently in SA, we've got 1,154 police stations. And then we've got a police personnel of about 193,692 people, personnel, cops, managing a population of 63 million people. So what these stats are telling us that our cops are underpaid, overworked, and work in the most dangerous and heinous environments in South Africa. Latestly, the National Commissioner, Fanima Semula, alluded to say SAPS was under budget. They have cut their budget during the financial budget, The budget has been cut. So, meaning that they do not have enough resources to encounter the crimes that are happening recently in South Africa. And I come again and question, whose fault is it? Are we going to blame the SAPS personnel if there are not enough vents, if they do not have enough bulletproofs, or are we looking at the government? Okay, let me go to summary. Okay. Recently, looking at the stats, even though they are under-resourced and underpaid and overworked, the South African Police Service managed to decrease the number of hijackings by 5.3% and decrease robberies and non-residential premises with 5.3% as well as trust in transit heists and bank robberies by 1.5%. So all I'm saying again, ladies and gentlemen, we shouldn't look at SAPS only, but we should look at the government as well. Our government is lacking. Our government is not doing enough to help SAPS. That is my argument. Thank you.
Sanbonani, the question is, are they doing enough? And that is broad. Are they doing enough in terms of arrests? Are they doing enough in terms of patrolling? I think, personally, they're not doing enough. And there are reasons why I say they're not doing enough. I do blame the government because it is who they report to. Do they have enough resources? How is the training? Do they have enough training to actually perform all of this? Because as we know that we are moving with the times and now technology is being introduced. And in other countries, they seem to invest more into technology because it is really the fastest way to work in this type of situation that we're in. As a world, everything is moving on too fast. If we are going to say they are doing enough or they're not doing enough, also we need to take into account the fitness level. As you may see, the JMPD, for example, the staff, is there a certain weight they should be in? Is there a certain fitness level they should be in? Because when you're dealing with criminals, you're dealing with people that obviously are doing something wrong and they can obviously outrun on foot. Are they doing enough in terms of investing in those things? Are they investing in the fitness? Are they investing also in the education? Are they trainings that police attend that could equip them better? Are they getting help from other parties, other entities, or other countries rather, so that they share information in order for you to be really good at what you do? You always have to take that educational time for you to equip yourself properly. You need to know what you're doing. So that sharing of information in regards to seminars, your trainings, those are very important. We can say the government is not doing enough for the SAPS, but is the public doing enough to then come and say, okay, there are things that we do? Because I do know that we do have patrols like Alexandra, and they play a very important role because those are the people that should be working very, very closely with the SAPS. It's not just an SAPS problem. It's a country's problem, meaning that it's a resident problem. Me and you, there's a part that we need to play. Our patrollers, they are very helpful in situations where they are patrolled. The level of crime, I think, from where I stay, has really decreased with the visibility of patrols. So how can we then integrate patrols and the SAPS to find a common ground where they can work from? Also in terms of training, when the SAPS is looking for more officers, can we rather say, let's look at patrols? Is there a database? Thank you.
I guess my time starts now. Members of this August House, it is in my belief that the South African Police Service has dismally failed the people of South Africa. And by so, my main focus will be on the Constitution of the Republic of South Africa. Section 205, subsection 3 of the Constitution of South Africa clearly dictates that the South African Police Service must prevent, combat, investigate crime, maintain public order, protect and secure inhabitants of the Republic and their property, and to uphold and enforce the law. Such reasons why I say that they have failed. South Africa, by July 21, 2003, it had a score of 75.5 crime rate, according to Statista Research Department. whereby we had 6,289 people killed between January and March 2003. That's quarterly. Cold cases in South Africa. We have the murder case of Fosterville serial killer, which ran from 1999 to 2003. And there was not an arrest and a conviction, none whatsoever. Another case would be the Sleepy Hollow killer, rapist and killer who killed women in their sleep, who also operated from the early 90s to 2007. No arrest, no conviction, nothing ever happened. Again, I'll refer again to the Constitution that SAPS must also uphold public order. They have failed to do so. In relevance, the July 2021 looting unrest, they dismally failed to deal with it. We're also going to look at the incident of Marikana, where 34 minors, to my Leonard colleague, I'll also like to remind their fathers, husbands, uncles, and sons to some. I would also now go to the Fees Must Fall protest, where SAPS also failed in their constitutional mandate to investigate crimes. When young people took to the street to protest against the crimes that are being committed against them, SAPS brutally shot at them. Now also, let's look at the stats for the 6 poorest performing police stations in South Africa. Being one at Ridgeville, which had 39 murder cases, which was a 95 increase. We have now Izinjaze Game, Izinjaze Chocho, Alexandra Police Station, standing at 38.2 murder cases, which saw a 65.2 increase. We'll also go to Ivory Park with 38 murder cases, 171.4% increase. We'll also go to Kagiso Police Station with 34 murder cases, which was a 13.3 increase. GP Police Station, 32 murder cases, 14.3 increase. And then we go to Orange Farm with 31 murder cases, 72.2 increase. I do not see a decrease in any of that. Carjacking went up by 34.4%, business robberies by 1.4%. By July 2023, the fiscal year, we had about 43,037 reported rape offenses. Was SAPS doing enough for those women? I'm also going to come to the ratio. SAPS is also in charge of hiring personnel. It's also thank you.
All right, I will take an angle of showing you as Alexandrians the statistics and number of people that the mob justice has taken it to their hands to try and control crime within our community. Just few weeks ago, we had Istretla of 4 men, the 5th one, that was burned alive. And they believe that, Istretla is one of the communities that they do it for themselves rather than the other communities within Alexandra Township. And that indicates, Banbagithi ukuthi, people have begun not to trust the South African Police Service. And the reason is, for some years, it has shown many times through our social media, we discuss about it, we are concerned about it. You start from the top, the corruption cases which do not get attended to or complete in commissions, or either the head of the police, the Commissioner Begicele, would actually use stances, afike emphakathini, and engage to a certain case that is popular in South Africa for the popularity of political party. But they lacking focus to ensure ukuthi justice is served. You look at the case Meyiwa. It is one of the cases that indicates to you that if it's not complete, who has a hand to ensure that at the end of the day the police are not doing their jobs? This is higher than we can think, right? And mob justice is a reason, is a reason why, because people don't believe in the police service department. Another thing is that when you go to social medias, at TikTok, you see police drunk. You see police, older people, lapana bangafunu retire. Where we've got young people who are loitering the streets, who are supposed to be healthy, who are supposed to work, who are supposed to be paid. They're not participating innovatively to ensure they combat crime. What is then meaning? It is meaning that even South Africans themselves are lacking participation to the SAPS police system because they are not heard. Once you're not heard, once corruption from the top inspires the nation to continue corrupting or not attending the SAPS or completing the SAPS cases, it is then a disruption and chaos within our community. The mob justice is the reason why, because people no longer ever believe in the police system. Number two, indeed, the Community Policing Forum are one of the strategies that thina emphakathini siyasazibambela. Sisibambela ngoba sesibona ukuthi ekugcineni nephoyisa mawuya epolice station uthi yo reporter a case, they won't attend to. The next thing idocket yanyamalala. Inyamalaliswa yini uma umsebenzi wakho uqala uqedelele icase emphakathini. And I think if there could be some processes or engagements to remove the current political party, then we'll sort out the problem.
For me, this topic is very personal because I'm a victim of police are not doing enough, to combat crime. For me, they are not doing enough. At first, before I experienced what I experienced with the police services, I thought they are doing enough because of just witnessing what they were doing. But experiencing them not doing their job was very hurtful for me. Yes, I'm not the actual victim of that, but experiencing or observing the people in my family going through whatever that they were going through because of police not being able to, do what they are supposed to be doing. As he was mentioning, dockets are missing. When you report a crime, dockets are missing. He also mentioned bribe, especially in Alex. You find a lot of policemen being involved in bribe. For my case, it was a rape case, whereby my 3 nieces were raped by the same man. We reported the case, the man was arrested, but then after that, we saw the man roaming around the streets. I remember one of my nieces coming back from school running, crying, Man Mahlatsi, I saw this person. How did you see the person? No, let me just go and find out. I went to the police station. When I got there, I was told that the detective who was handling my case has resigned. Okay, the detective has resigned. Who will assist me now? Unfortunately, there's nothing we can do. You have to report what happened. Report, okay, I'm an aunt, I want to see justice for my kids. I do the same thing again. They have to be in the same room explaining what has happened again to a different person. When you get there, the person will be like, oh, ish, they talk about their family members, especially the counseling process. Oh, minang chahile, I have things to do. Meanwhile, a person is there, they want to be helped, but it's not happening. So hence I'm saying for me, this topic is very personal. When I came here, I was asked, did you research? I was like, there's no need for me to research because I have experienced the police are not doing what they are supposed to be doing. And for me, this experience is something that I don't wish on anyone. It's something that if the police were doing what they were supposed to be doing, we wouldn't even be where we are today. And if they are not doing what they are supposed to be doing, then what happens to the victims? One of my nieces has contracted an HIV disease. She is now all over the place, like she doesn't want to do anything that's right with her life. She doesn't care about school. She dates older men, which is very traumatic for us. When we try to intervene, it's difficult because where am I going to say to her? She won't listen to me because she's going to be like, my police are not doing anything. Whether we are police station or Yakai, there's nothing that they can help me with. If I go to the social workers, there's nothing that they're going to help me with. When I get there, all they do is talk about their families, talk about how they got there, talk about how they were, okay.
The South African Police Service derives its mandate from Section 205 of the Constitution of the Republic of South Africa, 1996. Prevent, combat, investigate crime, maintain public order, protect and secure the inhabitants of the Republic and their property, and uphold and enforce the law. According to Pay Scale South Africa, a police gets 18,000 rands with all the ridiculous working hours that they have to endure. With all the services, the state does the bare minimum for the police. Not to even go outside Alexandra, I work with stakeholders like the police service. I have witnessed police like Mhlongo, who was in the case of Jabulile Nkosi, a girl child that was slaughtered to death here in Alexandra at a park. That police made sure that the suspect is apprehended. He made sure that he sees that case to a finish. The case took 3 years for the family to get justice. And every day, work for a police is to get into the police station, take the case, and put the case in the system. So how are they taking bribes for those cases when you have the case number? And if ever your case is not being solved, you can still go and ask the police what is happening. Social Justice Conference in 2020 says the police profession is the most harmful of all professions worldwide, not only in South Africa. We have a police that has lived their life because of death threats, but they still continued with their job. I'm talking about Sergeant Keshi Benneth Mabunda, who was able to crack the Rosemary case when it was already closed. That man held the baton and fought for justice. And also, with the South African Police Service, they get the help from the patrollers and everyone else. They are mere human beings. As South Africa is moving into the fourth industrial revolution, the police are not getting drones to apprehend victims. And it's not up to the police to say a person gets bail or not. When after your case is put into the system, it is according to the judiciary to decide that they throw your case out or not. I'm talking about an incident that happened not so long ago. Colonel Chauke, who works at the Barracks Old Police Station, who works with rape cases. One of our victims had a problem with their cases being thrown out of court. That man worked out of his working hours to make sure that he explains to the victim's family why their docket is thrown out of court. But now when you're saying there are cold cases, when you are saying police are dismally failing, what do you expect them to do? You expect them to pursue law degrees so that they can also go to court and solve the same cases that they worked and...
All right.
Yeah.
Yashisa,
It is,
ziyakhala,
it
guys.
is.
Yo, asiphuze namanzi, guys. Yo, hey, asiphuze namanzi. We had different views. We had people saying the weight may be a problem. You need to be maybe nomkhabanyana, ungabi nomkhabanyana. Hey, uzokwazi ukujump ifence. Abanye bathi, hayi ama-patroller they are not helping. Abanye bathi, hayi bayaspana labantu, hayi. But yay, good peas. Abanye, hey, I'm opinion maning, guys. There's a lot of opinions. There's a lot. Right. So we are going to go into the next round. It's called the rebuttal round. In this round, you'll be given 60 seconds each to question each other's opinion. Question only. Right? So I hope while they are questioning you, you're taking notes, because you'll be given another 60 seconds after you've all done the questions to answer. So note them, because they might be difficult. So let's start the 60 seconds of the rebuttal questions round. 60 seconds.
So I have a question for Mugel next to me. So you mentioned that you mentioned a couple of people that they managed to solve certain cases, and all of the people that you mentioned were part of the people who were handling my case. And to be quite honest, what you are mentioning is news to me as someone who has experienced their service. So my question to you is, how sure are you? Are you talking about the fact that you've heard or you've actually witnessed what they were doing? If you say that the cleaner was cleaning, were you here? Did you see that the cleaner actually cleaned the floor? So that's my question, Sunhlanhla.
Okay, so part of my... Oh, I must not... Oh,
Question.
but I want to answer now, Mos. It will go.
Note it down.
Okay, I have questions for my two Leonard colleagues. To Mr. Maringa, you said subs do not have enough resources. But according to my information, I just want to know where you get your stats, because by the fiscal year of 2021 to 2022, subs had a 96 billion budget and they underspent by 4 billion, which is equivalent to what the NPA gets. They underspent. Where do you get your sources? I'll also come to my Leonard colleague here. She also said cases are being thrown out of court. I just have one question. Does the court, the prosecutor, and the magistrate investigate or they rely on the lawful investigations of the police officers?
No.
All right. No questions. No questions. No questions. No questions. Perfect. So We're going to give you 60 seconds to answer the question Tseho asked you.
Okay, so to answer my colleague here, I'm sorry about what happened. I'll start there. No one deserves to go through what your nephews and nieces went through. And part of my everyday job is being a gender-based violence activist. And I also work with the Masipepe Network, a network of organizations that are working together in Alexandra to curb this scourge of gender-based violence. So with regards to what you asked, yes, I was there. With Chabulia's case, I was there from day one. When the school kids were on the streets burning tires and asking answers from the police, I also was there demanding answers as to what is the police service doing. And that's when we found out that the case was handled by Mhlong, the one that I'm telling you about. From that day until the day of the judgment, Mhlong was there. Even to explain to the family, also with court support, and also with Colonel Chauke. Can I answer, please? With Colonel Chauke. Colonel
60
Chauke now
seconds.
works at Barracks, right? You know that he's at the old police station. The victim that I was
Do
talking
60
about.
seconds.
Wait,
eh,
Kancane.
60
The victim that I was
seconds,
talking
Ntata.
about. Nah, we went to Chauke with the parents of the victim to understand why the case was thrown out of court. And he did explain why. Yes. So those people I'm talking about, I was there. Not to go to it's a hearsay or something that I've read or something that I whereby it's researched. Yes.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
The next person.
Yeah, hey, Chief. On your question. No, you got me there. You got me there. I'm going to be honest with you now. You got me there in terms of the numbers. But then here's the thing. We all know, okay, some of us know during the budget speech, the budget was cut for subs. You get that. I don't know the actual numbers in billions. I can't tell you, no. But then that is what I know. And again, you were talking about examples of Alexander. Last time we went there, we were told what you get. So I cannot believe when they say they are under-resourced, because that's what we see, Mukas. You spoke about the thing that happened unrest, July last year. It was the same thing with them, but the training wasn't there, the cars were not there, many things were not there. I can't give you the exact number. I know you want the exact number, but then that's it.
Oh, okay, my apologies. I'd like to make an appeal. Since I was not asked any questions, can then I use my remaining 60 seconds? You missed that, your time lapsed. Can I please also engage with my 60 seconds?
Okay.
Okay, now, okay, as I was about to say, I knew that, and I thank my Leonard colleagues for alluding that subsets actually failed. They were given a budget. It was their responsibility to say we lack 1, 2, 3 resources. Therefore, we need to utilize it for technology. We need to use it to hire personnel. And also we need to get any surplus material that we might need to ensure that we do not fail our constitutional mandate. I thank you very much for alluding to that. And as I was about to say, I had my minute. You refused to take questions. Can I please be protected here? Thank you very much. Is my minute over? Oh, okay. And as I wanted to say, I mean, a clear issue, they are also failing to tackle the Zamazama, which are illegal miners. We see them actually operating without any care in the world. And I also want to say, we might say CPF and whatsoever, but CPF are not subs, and they are actually doing an incredible job. With that, they have no resources. They have no training, which is the responsibility of subs to train their members. So they've also failed to train their members. They failed in their constitutional mandate. Thank you.
This debate is very heated. 60 seconds. No, your 60 seconds. All of you except for Mr. Warren. We're on a 60 seconds. Actually, you've got 60 seconds times 2 for your question and your answer. You asked your question.
I don't have a question per se, but the panel here has given the most intelligent evidence and vivid emphakathini ukuthi the SAPS or the police system in South Africa, the justice system has failed. Now we ask ourselves about the constitutional hill, the Supreme Court. And one of the reasons is because of South Africa doesn't have a check and balance system. The check and balance system, Mangin Fundisa, it's a system which we can learn from the Americans. And what does it mean? Umongameli akakwazi ukuthatha decision or any decision in terms of justice or policy or legislation without consulting the parliament consulting the Constitutional Hill, the Constitutional Hill looking into the court, and everyone will work together to ensure that we check if the process that any crime or any case will take in the verdict that comes out would actually be serving the Constitution of South Africa. And I think another thing is, even the law of South Africa, it is so, we cannot depend on it, because one of the ideas is the jury. In the United States, the judge is sitting up there, and then the jury of the community, ourselves, assisting the judge to make a decision and go after the court. The community is involved. In South Africa, we are not part and parcel of the SAPS process, even if we have the community policing forum. Why? Because people that are serving within as captains into the local police stations, the commissioner, they have an agenda that is dictated by a political party that serves the interest of the political party. I might tell you right now, there is redundancy that is created Giti Abantu, so that the political party that is ruling right now to continue ruling, because our young people become redundant. Do they ask questions about this police system? Thank you.
Thank you so much. As you all have heard about this, right, we gather this conversation on how we can express views and opinions, and now we'd like to hand it over to the audiences. So we're going to start with our first patroller.
There's a mic.
Thank you for being granted the platform. My name is the Game Changer. I represent the patrols. I've heard a panel there having their debate, but then I'll quickly read the pointers because time is of essence here. Is the South African Police Service doing enough to encounter crime? No. Why? One, they're incompetent. One incident is the Krugersdorp rapes, how it was handled. The Marikana issue, how it was handled. The border control, there is porosity there. Abantu bayazenzela ukungena nokuphuma la ekhaya. Unlawful arrest of innocent patrollers and other innocent people, but I'll speak about innocent patrollers. When cops fail to do what they're supposed to do, then they go to patrollers as they are paid.
Anyone with an opinion?
Sanbonani. With the topic that has been held, I'm one of the citizens, as our young citizens, Alexander. I think another thing that we are missing beside the law and everything that is failing, I think it is the passion and the zeal of the individuals that are working in all these services, because if someone is not zealous of their job, they will always find an excuse not to perform at their max. And as well, the actual police station or the subs, they are not supported as well in terms of them being renewed mentally, spiritually, and being helped in terms of counseling, because our police that are serving us are broken people who have been broken by the crimes and the happenings that are happening in Alex. And because of the lack of support as well, they will not function at their best. I think that's another thing that we should look at. Thanks. Ngiyabonga.
Thank you so much. Anyone else who would like to lay? Thank you, Gail.
Good evening, everyone. So I guess
or I should say, by my feeling, I guess we're living in an ignorant world to a point that people are just doing things that they think they are right, but I don't think they are right by them, because it's like it is what it is. We just go with the flow. So whatever that I do, I just do it because I just want to keep in time to say that if I want to help a certain individual, I would help them if I want to, and if I don't want to help them, then yeah, just go the way you are, because now we're living in a broken community to a point that we are even scared to be, because now we are living in an injustice world. So I don't think we are even doing enough. Not saying that the police itself, but we're not doing enough. It comes as a person, that how you want to conduct yourself as a person. Thank you.
Hi everyone, my name is Sipo Setu. I would say, I would like to say, justice failed me as a person, Jonesis. But then yet again, if I believe if the community was working together with the police, I guess we would be sitting here and discussing this. But then we can't say all the police are not working. We can say minority is not working, because at some point there are those ones who are willing to do, but they don't get a support from others. And at some point there are those ones, as she said, Uguti, it depends on who wants to help for who and whenever, you understand? But then and also I also agree with Uguti in the resources, because I once, if I speak about my incident, right? So basically, resources at Alexandra Police Station Aziko, because if also they were also doing rounds, I'm talking about AM situation because I was raped, right? Like Alexandra, 7, yeah. So then, and they were not there, they didn't come, and they failed me, and case I'm so I believe Guti, yeah.
I would like to add to that. So what happens when one reports to a police? Do someone have to die for them to come and approach a person when they've reported a case? Because once there was an incident when there was a woman who was killed by their husband last year. So there was a neighbor who called saying that there's a fight that is happening next door. They called and reported to the police. Then they only came once the woman was dead. Is justice enough? Like, what's really happening with our community? Thank you. All right. I guess we have all heard the opinions, experiences of people, and everything that has been going on. We've heard stats and all, right? Opinions, especially from our audience. So now we're going to go back to our debaters. And now this is the final round, where you will be given 60 seconds to give us solutions to everything that you have said, right? Some are against, some are with, saying that they are SAPS working to counter crime in SA. Some are saying, no, it's not happening. They're not seeing any change. It's just there, Kalibito, right? So we need solutions. For every situation, there is a solution. So can we get those solutions? And your 60 seconds starts now.
I think Uguti, for me now, change starts with you. And I do like the part that we say, what are you doing as a community? Because that's where patrols come. They themselves, as Umuntu woke up one day and said, I don't like what's happening, and I'm therefore going to take action. So those are people that we really should applaud, because as far as Itratanama sections are concerned, we really, really rely on patrols. You won't find a policeman ngotu estratin. You will find a patrol ngotu estratin. So we need to give credit where it's due. That's why I'm saying, Oguti, patrols need to be working together with the SAPS, because they are understaffed and there is a lot of work that they need to do. So another solution would be, why can't subs put containers, for example, like Alexandra? Let's have containers stationed as a subs, so that when you want to do affidavit, you can go to the container, not to the police station. And then we allow the police station to then work more on the serious crimes. So as much as you need to have
Okay, let me be quick. My solutions are police must also go through proper physical training and also go through criminal law and procedure act training to avoid reasonous investigations that leads to cases being thrown out of court. Police stations must be independently held accountable. The station commander must be held accountable for failing police stations. There must also be relevant training and ethical exam as to in the legal industries. Communities must also be aware that they can actually sue subs for failing in their constitutional mandate. ANC must be advocated as the root of the problem, for they are the lawmakers of this country. Subs must be named, renamed Kaiser Chiefs, and we need a 24-hour police visibility. Thank you.
Okay, like any working profession, you get people and you get good people and bad people. It's like the same as nurses. You go to Masakan, you're gonna find good nurses, you're gonna find bad nurses. The thing is, we have to remember that when you work in an environment is conducive to your productivity, certain things will happen. Like in Tsotsi, people will lose their zeal. People will not feel like going to work. People will not take it as a priority because they feel like the government doesn't care about them. They feel like the Ministry of Police doesn't give a damn about them. Sorry for my language. So I feel the government has to really pull up its socks. It has to find subs more. It has to get people to do more training. And yet again, we as a community, like other people have said, we and subs have to come together and counter crime. Like it or not, we're all human beings. They might be wearing uniforms, we might not be wearing uniforms, but then we're all human beings living in the same communities most of the time. So I think it should be a partnership between us and subs and the government as well.
So I will say the key here, your voters got power. When you keep on voting for this political party that is doing all these errors, you will keep on having sufferings on SAPS. Because they deploy, you cannot separate the SAPS from the political issue. Because it is politically voted for, it is the police system is administrated by a political party in the government, made legislations to implement all this crime or justice policies that should ensure that you are safe. If you feel that you are not safe in South Africa, make sure that when you vote next year, loyalty won't pay you peace. If you're loyal to a political party that doesn't care about you, I stayed at Sydenham. Right now, police are patrolling that area, not Community Policing Forum. Because you are black, because you are middle class, because you are Lupega, the only thing that they want from you is the vote. But the vote doesn't buy you peace, doesn't buy you safety. If you want to ensure that you correct the South Africa, you have to have political maturity. You should know we cannot, our biggest mistake is to have one political party rule over a decade. Nas Gutenzi nonsense. And I blame it to you, because you know you have to change the vote.
Hey, yeah, okay. So, Mina, for me, a solution, well, it's beyond anyone's control, but it would be to have people who are passionate about what they're doing. So, in Mzulu Sisi Uti, when people don't have support, they can't do what they have to do. For example, Mina, where I work, I mentor young people. So you'd find that we have to do certain things, and I don't get support the way that I should be getting it. So if I'm not getting support, then I want to apply. Aguna Wi-Fi. Am I gonna say, oh, I could Wi-Fi, I'm sorry. Me being passionate, me wanting to see this child succeed. Nyahamba nyaphuma ngizala safe up, makangixosha ulindelani ngiyofuna enye indawo ezonginikeza i-Wi-Fi, ngithenge. Like that's me being passionate about what I'm doing. It's not me just working nyahola month end. I don't care. It's me being passionate. It's me really wanting to see this child succeeding. So if we have a maphoyisa angekho passionate, bias block when you report my case, hi, I'm just following up, blocked. So
I'd like to apologize if I'm mistaken as someone who's speaking from a point of privilege. I'm also a young person from Alex. I have encountered crime. But now we must remember, more than anything, our police are not AI, are not robots, are not machines. They are also humans. And economic freedom for the police. They must increase benefits for our police. Their mental health must be number one on the training that they undergo for 24 months, 12 months at the academy, 12 months in the workspace. Passion fatigue, it has happened to all of us who want to change the world. They are not Spider-Man, they are not Superman. Please, let's be lenient to our police, because as much as victims of any social injustice, you get secondary trauma. How much more trauma do police go through? How much more do they have to endure, knowing that your life is at stake? At any point, you will lose your life. I heard my colleague speaking about Marikana. What did you expect the police to do when your superior says shoot to kill?
Wow, okay. Ms. Buya, it was heated actually. The solutions have came onto board. As you see that all the participants have stated on their underground solutions. And again, I would like to give this opportunity to the judges. Judges, what do you think?
Hello. Is it on? Yeah. Okay. Hello, everyone. My name is Zipo, and I'm from Meriting Youth Development. I deal with youth development in general. So my question, a couple of questions. I'll start with the guy in the pink. So your solution, right, is that we need to change parties, which I don't disagree with, but I'm saying what difference is it going to make? Because the police don't necessarily work for the ruling party. Remember, we have different constituencies, we have different municipalities that are ruled by DA, that are ruled by EFF, ANC, all of these. Corruption is embedded, basically. So what are you saying? Why should we vote someone else? What difference are they bringing? What are they bringing to the table that will make us want to vote somewhere different or vote at all?
Political parties have got what we call a manifesto. And the manifesto is innovative principles and values at which each party will consolidate ideas that they will implement. They are proposing to you that when you vote for me, this is what I'm going to deliver. And I think the status quo of ANC has overstayed its time. And I think as South Africans, once we start to exercise the true democracy of choice, where we interchange, democracy at itself is organism. Ifana nomuntu. Njengomuntu uphuza amanzi amasha. Njengomuntu uyageza, ugqoke kabusha. As a nation, we need to go kabusha political terms. Because Maubegi Commissioner, it is deployed by a political party. Perhaps we have new young people innovative in order to implement all these ideas they're speaking to. We'd rather vote for a new party. We'd rather take a risk. We'd rather have new ideas. We'd rather have new thought of ideas and budget and plans to ensure that we combat crime. Because the justice system is already infested by the ANC corruption.
Thank you. The next judge, please.
I know, I can fool you. Okay, so this goes back to kakistocracy. I'm directing this to you, right? Kakistocracy. You can Google it now. Okay. So now the question goes back to who is responsible for everything that is happening in this country in terms of the crime, right? Who's responsible for running awareness or media education in our communities?
Okay, in terms of, am I audible?
Yes, you are.
Okay, in terms of who is responsible for that, I would also, let us not remember, because I had my Leonard colleagues mentioning the government. SAPS,
Now
it's
we
all
are the government.
Oh, okay.
Us.
But I had them mention the government as in, I hope you do understand what I mean. But SAPS is also a government institution. So for me, I would say the responsibility firstly comes to the president as the custodian of the constitution of the country. Hence, he's also called the CIC, the Commander-in-Chief of Law Enforcement Agencies, recognized by the Constitution as state-owned. Secondly, as now we say in SAPS has been mandated, I'll take you back to the constitution again, has been mandated to deal with crimes in terms of preventing, investigating, or whatsoever, and also running public awarenesses. This is why they would also now say we're going to hire a person with a public communications to also engage with the community. So the responsibility of actually combating crime remains with SAPS. Our responsibility as residents is to report the crime, not to investigate, but to report. So it is the responsibility of SAPS to engage and run awarenesses within the community. I think there's super glue on my mic. I just can't let it go. But okay.
Thank you. Going to the next judge, please. Wow.
All right. Mina, my question I'll direct it to the lady. I hope this doesn't sound insensitive, but this is a debate. I just want us to explore the law a little bit. Right? What happened to you, it's unfortunate. No one deserves to be victimized like that. And abone a perpetrator walking down the street. But now, my question is, how far did you research or find out about your rights, especially when you see the perpetrator walking on the road after you've reported? But now, as a citizen of this country, what are your rights? And how can you protect yourself from the same situation that happened to you? Because remember, whatever that you do and your reaction, you're actually helping another person who's potentially a victim, or stop it from happening to them.
Thank you so much.
All right. I know I have a right to be protected. So when I saw the perpetrator walking around the street, honestly, my emotions were all over the place. But because right now I needed to think on my feet, and it was not about me at that point, I went back to the police station and I asked, okay, what's happening? We are seeing this person on the street, and we were not even informed that he got bail. There was no response or concrete response from the police. So what I did, I am just answering your question. Your question directly is, what did I do? I researched. I went to the police station nonstop. I would sleep at the police station sometimes, wanting to get the answers that I was looking for. I would miss work. I would get suspended at work. Me being out there because I wanted to see justice, of which well I didn't get at the end. But to be honest with you, I didn't stop until I was just like, there's nothing that I can do anymore. So to answer your question, I did everything.
Okay, I'm not trying to create dialogue, but
No, I know.
I just want to indicate, just highlight something that I think as citizens we keep missing, especially Guma cases aganje, whereby when you've reported a case, banjwa, and for good apply a bail, do you know what you need to be there so that maganikezwa i bail, you have a say. Agakwazi ukuthola i bail wena ungashongo ukuthi no, you feel safe or not. So leyo bail izoba granted because of what you have said, ukuthi uvumelana nayo or not. But we tend not to look at technicalities. Akanjalo. Finally, okay, uthola i bail. That's why umbona elapha. Amaphoyisa can't do much after arresting this person. Uma sephumile ukhumbula ukuthi uphume from kuphi enkantolo, right? They release him. Amaphoyisa don't have a control at that point. Here's a blunder that we tend to do, of which I think most year we become victims. You have every right. Yobo pisa omkipile, meaning final toilet from each judge elimkipile. When you didn't have a say. So gunani lapo gune bribe. That is involved.
All right.
Educate ourselves when it comes to that.
Right.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you, guys. So we've heard our judges' opinions here and there. So we're going to give you guys 60 seconds to just complete the leaderboard, starting from the lowest going to the highest, as to who made their point very heard today. So while they do that, any closing statements?
Do you have a closing statement?
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
I can start.
Yeah, you can
Okay,
start.
you can start.
Okay. For me, in my closing statement, people have been talking about incompetence, and unfortunately, I couldn't finish. But we need to go back and look at case studies. I mean, I'm looking at AK versus Minister of Police, where police did not investigate where a young woman was raped in Cape Town, even though the police were informed. Instead of bringing a safe and rescue dog, they brought a drug sniffing dog, meaning that there wasn't even a proper investigation. And as she was also saying, some of the cases gets thrown out of court. What we are not aware of is there's also a tampering of a crime scene. So if somebody tampers a crime scene, we've removed a certain, I'll tell you this from a legal perspective, because when I'm going to argue a case, I look at the technicalities. Were you Mirandaized? You are not ready or Mirandaized in a language that you understand. I've already won the case. It's done. It is not the problem of the court, it is the problem of the police because they did not follow proper procedures. And hence I'm saying we seem to be forgetting that SAPS as an institution has to consider all of these facts and say, how do we also now prepare ourselves and also make sure that we've got enough of these resources? This is what has to be done. Police are being sued. I mean, alone this year, they are being sued for 640 million to the taxpayer for their incompetence.
I think ukuthi in closing for me, I would really like ukuthi wonke umuntu understands that they have a role to play. It's not a SAPS problem. It's not an ANC problem. It's our problem because the people that commit the crimes are people that we know, Stella Nabo, Sploma Nabo, we see them and we glorify. Not knowing that you are praising something that's wrong. It's your responsibility as a person to not only go report on a crime, but it is your responsibility to go find out. That feedback is very important. And I also feel like if you want a person to do best in their job, equip them and invest in them. The government really has to invest because of even though we can say the budget was allocated. Where's the accountability? Because of we see in reality, Mawuya F15, you see even, I mean, the toilets, for example, you can see there in a facility. So we are not going to say, but the money is allocated. It's
Time.
allocated according to who and who's accountable.
Thank you.
The Bible says, my people lack because of lack of knowledge. Mina, what I'll say, Uguti guys, community, please, let's stop being bystanders. You see a woman by lapaya, what is that? And I'm sad that young people are not taking advantage of such platforms, that we can speak out and say, if it's not my problem, then whose problem? We are the first ones to say Alexander is on number ban on the stats. Yet when organizations such as ENS Africa, they come and teach you about the law, you never come. Maragwaza Minister Banban azo keep my food parcel number one. So please, let's stop the bystander effect and actually invest in learning and knowing more. When you see a poster, go and ask, because it says and it's also Alexander, you don't know why let's stop the bystander effect. Let us take charge. We are the government. That's what one of the judges said. If the government is not doing enough, why don't you play your part rather than your part being complaining?
Yeah, I also wanted to say, any inteko crime it's because we are bystanders. So, and most of the time we become upstanders. Affect umntwana wakini or umama ko, but if it affects umakhelwane hayi angizingeni mina. So leyo attitude leyo vele yesifaka enkingeni most of the time. Mina I always find myself ngingeni indaba zabantu futhi bangibiza mandaba zabantu mina, because if something is wrong for me, I don't want to know who's doing the wrong thing. I'd find myself fighting with people who are above me in authority, but because you are doing something wrong, you can't be talking to a child like that. Ngihlangane nawe nje uthisha ukhuluma nomntwana, I'd go to emfundisweni, maybe for example ngiye ku meeting or nyovakashela isikolo. Mawufika lapha uthisha strong language uthi kumntwana, hayi wena futhi like nyama kancane ese. No, you can't be saying that to lo mntwana lo. So uthi mina mangimela irrespect for mina futhi yes mina ngiyazibona, but the child ufuthi like. So please guys, let's not be bystanders, let's be upstanders.
Simple as that is that go vote. Tell your children to do your voter next year for the first time. You are going to vote your choice, any political party that comes to your house, ask them questions. What are you going to do about the SAPS policing system? Because you failed. Give me some idea that you're going to ensure that I am safe in my house and I will never be afraid. Number 2, let us support Obaba Betu abangalala ubusuku nemini sebedujula lapha eStreetla. We are the ones that should encourage them. They are protecting us belele. And let's not separate it with, no, I mean, but they are protecting our homes and so on. But I would really tell you that vote is powerful. Lento ukuthi man votela face your political party you voted for change, because the scum, the directors, the captain, the commissioner will still stay. Peggy Cele is still going to terrorize our communities.
Thank you so much. Those were the closing statements, and we are thankful for the participants with their dedication on this debate. And now we're gonna hand it over again to the judges. They're gonna be mentioning the score sheets among us and announcing them accordingly. Judges, are you ready?
I would like to start it off by saying thank you so much for your views. And it's so important to have young people talking about such important issues and actually understanding what they're saying. So I'm hoping that you're not just saying to win today, but you're actually going to be proactive members in your community. Like you mentioned, in order to see change, we need to be the change that we want to see. So you can't expect other people to do the job for you. Wake up, do the job, do the necessary things to change the circumstances around you. No one else is going to do it for us. No political party is going to do it for us. So with that said, I do think people need to go out there and vote. And you need to be sure about who you vote for, because this is a fundamental election which will shift our lives. And we need to just remember that the DA rules in Cape Town and the black people in Cape Town. But anyway, I'm just saying, let's be careful. Oh, okay. But anyway, the main thing is, it's so sad that we're in this room and talking about this, because at the end of the day, they have failed us. The police have failed us. But also ourselves, we failed ourselves, because we wake up every day and we mind our own business, and we're not actually checking on our neighbors, we're not checking on our communities. And it's not enough having people patrol. We need to proactively support them in whatever way. You can't, as a woman, obviously you're not patrolling at 2 a.m., but you could ask them, what other help can I help you with to make your jobs easier? And that goes with even the police service. Like you've said, not everyone is bad. So not every government, people in government are bad. Not every police system is bad. Not every policeman is bad. But those that are good, let's make their jobs easier. Let's make their life easier so we can combat this together. The only way we can achieve change is if we're working as a unit. And that's one thing that we lack as people in general, is that we're so selfish, we're so self-centered, that it's always about us and our little group instead of benefiting others. The circle is big enough for everyone to win. So let's all try win together. All right. So, sorry, that was my 2 cents. So the winners is, start from the bottom. Okay, who wants to do from the bottom? You'll do it. Bottom. Guys, I wanted to say something.
Your 30 seconds starts now, miss.
Okay, I also have a 30 seconds. All right, I wanted to comment based on the performance and how you guys tackled. How pity the other gentleman has disappeared. But anyway, network. Oh, okay, I'm saying it how. But anyway, because hey, Siobhan, I was caught off guard, Clement. I just made anti and pro about anti the topic and pro, because I had to group you guys, even though I would have loved it. I'm a pro to support, because I felt like the lady from my far left was the one really passionate, because namanje so she was the only one who would get passionate with the subject and having facts, Zach, even though they were based on personal experience. But I felt the other my teammates didn't do enough research, because for me there was a lot that you could have capitalized on, especially the brutality such and so towards amaphoyisa, what disarmor, and all those kind of things. You know, especially statistics, you could have used that to your benefit. So the other team, about anti, they came because I mean it's a given. They have more points because of. I wish for ekaya because that's where things are really, really happening instead of looking at it from a bigger spectrum, which is South Africa. I know the topic says South Africa, but here at home, Ziatuma. It's a disaster. You understand? And it happens on daily basis. So for me, Abba NT, they were really passionate about the subject. They had their facts, statistics, everything. You could tell from a presentation.
Okay, thank you. Thank you so much.
So obviously my winners.
Okay. Okay, please announce the winners for us. Please announce the winners for us.
Okay. The winners are the anti, which is say number because I couldn't remember the names. So obviously the gentlemen, they were number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So for anti, it's your number 3, 4, and 5. That's 3 about anti, the topic, and then a bit pro, which was the first gentleman, the lady, and the far left lady. So my 3 anti were the winners. So I didn't calculate your in terms of our number because we each and every topic I gave my anti 15, which is use of arguments, reasons given to support arguments. They had it covered. From beginning to end, of which my pro, it's about 5. It was very poor.
Okay.
Their arguments were just poor because of lack of research.
Makes sense, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, should I continue or? All right. And then use of examples given to support argument and references. My auntie were just, as in Bazenzela. They were just flowing. And then when it comes to my pro, ngibanikeze i-10 because usis ngicela ukubiza ngegama ubani? Unhlanhla. Yeah, touch on very important points of which for me at least upule that weight up so to an average. Okay. Otherwise the teammates were failing her.
Oh.
So I must say this. I'm actually glad that young people are really engaging in serious topics like this. These are uncomfortable topics that you guys, or issues that you guys are tapping into. So I wish next time with the next topic, people do their research because I believe we are live somewhere on my social media platforms. So these are the things that we need to always go back to. So if people really invest in research and really taking this seriously, that would be good because manje iyenzani the whole exercise to be powerful. And we're looking at getting a sponsorship or something so that we take this to the next plateau. It mustn't just end here. We need to take ourselves seriously and we need to take you guys seriously. That can only happen when you guys take yourself seriously.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, so the last point, which is, actually not, use of responses must be relevant and satisfactory. Anti, Banigeze 18 because they were relevant and very satisfactory. Even though, my gentleman over there even had a sense of humor. Used a sense of humor just to get his point across, which is powerful because we need to look at ourselves and really look at ourselves and judge ourselves. We are not getting involved. We are just bystanders like we are. And we are to blame. The situation ends, it's our fault. We are involved. We contribute kulama ills now. So my pro was 11 because Usisi did a good job of arguing that with they're not robots. Bangabantu. So that's a very powerful argument because it's facts. They also, to err is human. Banama mistakes abo godwage ba failwa yin is system. There's one thing we are the government. The minute ukhomba lo muntu omvotele umbiza ngegovernment was ukuthi so failile. We are the government. We need to tell them what to do. We're giving them a mandate, not the other way around. So if a president is Allah, why should I bow down for Lomut Nimbegela pe officing? Ugut maga 7 mina. And if I understand Lontole, Magehle, Zobega also understand what Funan. So as long as Sifuna with Ama leader A2 as a rule, then we have a problem. We are the government. Let's always remember that part. Last part, presentation style, tone of voice, gestures, enthusiasm to convince audience. That goes without saying. 20.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
empty.
yeah.
They did it as in from point A to Z.
Okay.
Then pro 15 because now they did their best. I must actually congratulate Sis Swam. She tried by all means. And I need to give her flowers for that. So I guess our winners for tonight are the aunties.
All right.
Guys.
Whoa.
Well done. And not forgetting our beautiful audience.
Yes.
You guys pulled your weight as well. And thank you for sharing your stories. I wish you need to do something, especially if you're not happy about it. We tend to sit back and say, that's not the attitude. We need to correct our wrongs and do something about it. We need to be vocal. Abelung behlezi be complain about anything and everything. I think we need to adopt that behavior, Nat. We need to complain. Nanoma ngathi uyadina ukhulumela safuthi, you rather do that because ukuthula kwethu we become complacent and kwenzakalani. Ayikho into eyenzakalayo. You understand? Sinamaphoyisa are useless lapha, but yithi esiba empowering ngobu useless because we're not doing anything. If sifila ukuthi eksasa e15 makuvalwe, let's just show it. Akisho ukuthi soshisa amatayeri because angikho sure ukuthi ukushisa itayeri kusho ukuthini because siyamosha. Ukuyoshisa library, I am not sure what are we trying to say because simosha the very same facilities as it has now, the very same resources as it has now. So masio ngenela ilokuzana umakhiwo kahulumeni angikho sure ukuthi sifuna i-tax money yethu iye phezulu na okwenzakalani. We need to use this. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Just before I'm gonna hand this over to my colleague, I would just like to say that I really do envy this position of the debaters right now. I know that I'm actually a presenter, but I envy them a lot. I wish to be part of the debaters one day so that I can address with my issues as well. Yes. So before I just hand it over to my colleague, I just want to say that, you know, if we don't have to fight, like, if we don't fight, like, through the justice system, right, if we don't help each other as citizens, how are we going to let the police to actually help us if we don't help each other? Starting from the bottom, starting from within. But then again, I don't have to say much, just a question, with the question mark, of course. My colleague here is just going to say something before we closing. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. All right, thank you everyone for coming through. Thank you to our audience, Abu Baba to our Patrola Siabonga, our wonderful judges, and our debaters. Thank you for coming through to the second episode of the Presidential Second. So we will see you on the next show. Follow us on all social media platforms, even TikTok. Yes. And we will see you next time, same place, same time. Siabonga. Good night. God bless.
Good night.
But I think we still build it, so I think they have to have it. So, black and white document. Voice.
Antle mo janting, anemme alitin, retlo ya anemme. Tawena. Oh yes.
Yeah, this is my song. Next time, please come. Thank you.